channel. It is finally summer, and summer means camping and campfires means s'mores. So today what I thought I would do is show you how to make your s'mores even more delicious by using homemade marshmallows. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to make homemade marshmallows. So a couple of things about marshmallows. Number one, you cannot skimp on the amount of time that it takes your sugar syrup to come up to 240 degrees. We are making candy here, which is a science, so you have to make sure that you bring your sugar syrup up to the 240 degree mark, so you can't skip on that. And also you cannot skimp on your whipping time. I recommend using a stand mixer with a whisk attachment. I've never tried using a hand mixer, but you certainly want a whisk attachment, and if you're going to use a hand mixer, make sure it does have a whisk attachment and that it does get up to a very high speed, because we want to incorporate a lot of air into our sugar syrup to make our marshmallows. So let's get started. First thing we need to do is prep our pan. So what you want to do here is just use some cooking spray. Spray your pan. And then what I have in my little shaker here is a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar mixed with a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. So what you want to do is, after you've sprayed your pan, hopefully you can see that okay, you want to generously sprinkle your pan with the cornstarch and powdered sugar mixture. And yes, it is a little messy. And then just make sure that your pan is fully coated. And move it around a little bit. Make sure you get every nook and cranny of your pan. Okay, so now our pan is ready. So the next thing we're going to do is use 3 envelopes of gelatin, plain unflavored gelatin, not Jell-O. So you're going to take your 3 packages of gelatin and pour those in the bowl of your stand mixer. And then we're going to put in 1/2 cup of cold water. Now I have a cup here, but I'm going to use the other half for my sugar syrup. So I put the gelatin, 3 envelopes of gelatin, and 1/2 cup of cold water in my stand mixer, and we're going to let that do what's called blooming. So we're just going to let it hang out and let the gelatin dissolve, basically. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the other half of cold water into our saucepan with 1.5 cups of granulated sugar and 1 cup of light corn syrup. Get all that going in there. And then we're going to put this on medium heat. Actually, you want to give it a little bit of a stir. Put it on medium heat. I have my thermometer here. Mine's a digital one, but you can obviously just use the good old-fashioned ones that you get at the grocery store and attach it to the side of your pan. And we're looking for 240 degrees. Okay, so let that go on medium heat until you reach the 240 degree mark, and then I'll bring you back and show you what's next. I did forget to mention one thing. You do want to also add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So that's what I've got here, is 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Add that to your sugar mixture and then bring it up to 240 degrees. Okay guys, here's our sugar syrup coming up to temperature. Now I did want to mention that once you combine everything together in the beginning, you do not want to stir your sugar syrup. You just want to leave it alone and let it get up to the 240 degrees. And right now we're at 137. So we're going to let that keep going, and then I thought I'd show you what the gelatin is doing in the mixing bowl. It's doing its thing and getting all happy. And then over here is just the pan that we prepared, and I just wanted to show you how it's kind of kind of hard to see with the lighting, but it's fully covered. Now you didn't, I guess I didn't specify, I do have a quarter cup of powdered sugar and a quarter cup of cornstarch mixture in my shaker container, but I didn't use the full amount here. We'll use most of that throughout the process of making the marshmallows, but here you just want to make sure you give a nice coating for your marshmallows to sit upon so that they will come out of your pan easily. So there you go, that's what's going on. We're up to 157 degrees and we're going to let things keep rocking and rolling in the pan, and I'll bring you back once we get to 240 and we'll go on to our next step. Welcome back, guys. We brought our sugar syrup up to the 240 degrees, and so now we're ready to move on to the next step. So what you want to do now is turn your mixer onto stir, the lowest setting, and we are going to let the sugar syrup slide down the side of the bowl into the gelatin mixture, nice and slowly. You want to make sure you're definitely not aiming for your beater, or you can burn yourself. The sugar syrup could hit the beater and splash out and you can burn yourself, and we don't want that. So make sure you're letting it go down the side of the bowl. Okay, and we're going to slowly bring that up to high. And we're going to whip air into our sugar mixture until it's nice and fluffy and just beautiful. If you've never made homemade marshmallows, you are in for such a treat. They are so delicious, and it has no preservatives, no artificial colors, flavors, none of the stuff we don't like, just wonderful yumminess, and they make s'mores absolutely divine. So we're going to let this go for 13 to 15 minutes, and I'll bring you back when we're closer to that time and show you what we've got going on. Okay guys, our marshmallows have been whipping in our mixer for about 13 minutes. So at this point, I'm going to add a whole tablespoon of pure vanilla extract. Now there are different recipes out there. Some add just a teaspoon, others add 2 tablespoons. I like about 1 tablespoon. So you can add whatever you like here. But honestly, it's to taste. And it's hard to add too much vanilla in my opinion. So now at this point, we're going to let those go about another minute mixing on high, and then I'll bring you back and we'll put it in our pan and get ready for our marshmallows to dry out. Okay guys, after I added my vanilla, I let it mix for another minute or so. So we are good to go. Look how beautiful that is. So we're going to get all this yumminess off of our whip. And then we're going to pour our mixture into our prepared pan. And it's really pretty stiff at this point, and it's very sticky. This is such a fun thing to do with your kids. I remember doing this with my daughter when she was little, and once the marshmallows were done, I usually made it in the winter time. So at Christmas time, lots of people make marshmallows at Christmas time. So we didn't have campfires because we live in Ohio and it was pretty cold outside during the winter, but I have a gas stove. So she would always pull a chair up to the stove and ask me to help her roast a marshmallow on the stove. So it's really fun to do this kind of thing with your kids. You make great memories. She's all grown up now and she doesn't need my help roasting her marshmallows anymore, sadly. Okay, so I'm gonna spread that in your pan really good. It's pretty stiff, so It's a little hard to spread. That's pretty good. And then we're going to take more of our cornstarch and powdered sugar mixture, and we're going to completely cover the top. And yes, this is a little messy procedure, but so worth it. Okay, they're nice and covered. So now what we're going to do is let these sit uncovered on the countertop. Once they come to room temperature, then you can cover them with foil. And you need to let them dry out at least 4 hours. Overnight is better, but sometimes it's really hard to wait. And this, my friends, is pure confection heaven. You have to give this a try. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean up, let these dry out for a while, and I'll bring you back, show you how to cut them and store them. You want to store them in an airtight container, and then they're all ready for your campfire s'mores, or you can roast them over your gas stove if you like, or just eat them straight up. They're absolutely delicious, and this is so much fun to do. So we'll let our marshmallows dry out, and then I'll bring you back. Welcome back. My marshmallows have been sitting on the counter drying out for the afternoon, and actually it's been about 5 hours now that I've let them dry. So you do want to give them at least 4 hours. I know it's hard to wait, but you need to give them at least 4 hours. If you have time to let them dry overnight, that's even better. But I've gone with 5 hours, and then what I'm going to do now is take a little spatula, or you can use a knife, and just kind of go around the edge of my pan. And I don't think I mentioned earlier, the size pan that I used is approximately 9 by 13. That makes a nice, about a 1-inch high marshmallow. Kind of loosen it up, and then we're going to turn it out onto a cutting board. And coating the pan, I got it coated really well. You saw how easily that came out. So that works as long as you get it coated really well there. Now I'm going to take a pizza cutter. You could use a knife, but a pizza cutter works really well here. And I'm just going to coat it in what I had left over of my cornstarch and powdered sugar mixture. And then I added a little bit more powdered sugar. So I'm just going to coat my pizza cutter. And then we're going to cut these into approximately 1-inch squares. The other thing that you can do that's really fun is you can use cookie cutters, and you can make them into different shapes. Kids love to get involved with that. If you have little ones that like to cook with you, that's a good thing for them to do. And it looks like these set up really nicely. They're cutting really easily. Just beautiful. And again, they don't have to be perfect. Sorry for the babies barking in the background. Powdered sugar there. These are setting up really well. Very nice. Now, what happens if you try to skim on your cooking time or on your whipping time is you will not have a nice marshmallow like this. They'll be hard to cut and they won't be the right texture. So it's really important to not skimp on those times. There you go. See how pretty? And then I just take my marshmallows individually and I roll them in more powdered sugar, and then you want to store them in an airtight container of some sort. I like to use this glass jar because they look pretty in there. And just make sure they're nicely coated on all sides. I have a few little guys on the end because of the way my pan was shaped. My kids are really going to enjoy these. It's 4th of July weekend, and they're having friends over. Looking forward to making some s'mores and toasted marshmallows over a campfire. And as you can see, it's really not hard to make them. It takes a little time, but really your mixer does all the work for you. And like I said, this is a great thing to get your little ones involved in. This part especially, they're really good at, and they love rolling them in the powdered sugar. Made a lot of great memories with my little girl when she was little. She's not little anymore, she's almost all grown up now, but we loved doing this together when she was little. Make sure you get all the inside edges coated really well so they don't stick together. Now you can add other flavorings besides vanilla. Some people add almond extract. That goes really well if you're going to use them for s'mores. Of course, you don't have to use them just for s'mores. You can just roast them or eat them just the way they are. But there's all kinds of flavors that you can make. Strawberry is popular. Mint is popular. People like to do the mint when in the colder seasons and put them in hot chocolate. All kinds of flavors. So just make it yours. Do what you like. But personally, vanilla is my favorite. Sorry for the barking in the background. I don't know, there must be someone in front here jogging or walking past our house. Anyway, this is going to fill this jar pretty much to the top. Okay guys, that's it for homemade marshmallows. I did want to show you how pretty they look in my jar. Isn't that pretty? And I wanted to show you the texture of them. It's not perfect to see in the camera, but ooey and gooey. And they taste so good. So much better than anything you can buy at the grocery store. The pure vanilla extract is just amazing. Over the top delicious. I hope you'll give these a try. And I hope you'll use them to make your s'mores this summer. Make it a little more special. Add some gourmet chocolate. A really nice graham cracker. Summertime snack, can't be beat. So give this a try. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you have questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. As always, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.